Hello and welcome to the Daily Draft, where we take magic one draft at a time. My name is Morgan. This is the 99th episode of OMG, and I'm back. It's been a busy week, so I'm glad I can get more videos done. We opened a Mythic in this pack, Crush of Tentacles, Surge for 3 and 2 blue. Return all non-land permanents to their owner's hands if Crush of Tentacles Surge cost was paid. You can put a 8/8 blue octopus creature token on the battlefield. We're going to take it. I've played with this card in two other decks. One of them was a sealed deck, which probably wasn't well equipped to use it, and one was a draft deck that had a bunch of 7-drops in it. So, we're going to draft with Crush of Tentacles in mind and see how that goes. We are in a Swiss draft, so, whatever, man. I wonder how many octopi there are in the format, because this would be really good if there were a lot of them. Cards I like in this pack. Press into Service is pretty sweet. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, gains haste until end of turn, and you get to support too. Fun fact, you can support onto the creature that you are taking, or one of your other opponent's other creatures if you really wanted, but onto the creature that you're taking, which is pretty great. Gets in more damage. Zada's Commando is a card that I personally have enjoyed playing quite a bit. Seer's Lantern, kind of sweet with Crush of Tentacles, in that it basically makes the Surge cost 7 again, because you play the Seer's Lantern for 3 on turn 7, and then you can use the Seer's Lantern for mana to cast Crush of Tentacles. I think we're just taking the Press into Service as the best card in the pack, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. I like Jwar Isle Avenger. I like Oath of Nissa as a way to surge Crush of Tentacles, although it's not very good at, getting Crush of Tentacles. There's a Stalking Drone. That's pretty good as well. Is Oath of Nissa even worth anything? This is what we do here, kids. Dollar, yeah. I think I just take the Jwar Isle Avenger. It's in blue, which is nice, and I think it's a decent card. It's not necessarily a card that I like to pick this early, but it's fine. Here, I'm gonna take Cultivator Drone. It's a low drop, and it's got, the ability to cast something into Crush of Tentacles, which is pretty sweet. Ondu War Cleric is fun, and there's another Stalking Drone. Cinder Hellion is actually pretty good in the aggressive blue or red decks, because just a 4/4 body with trample is pretty hard to block, and it does that extra 2 damage when it enters the battlefield. So bouncing it, which was a huge problem in Battle for Zendikar Limited, is now a little bit more awkward. One thing about the Crush of Tentacles deck is that you have the ability to get things like Rush of Ice in pack 3, which is something to be aware of. Here, I think I take the Scion Summoner over the Ondu War Cleric. Scion Summoner allows us to cast Crush of Tentacles, has some synergy with Cultivator Drone, and it's just a pretty decent card, and we've been seeing a lot of reasonable green cards, so pretty happy taking it. Overwhelming Denial, another Surge card. There's a Cultivator Drone, Goblin Freerunner, Expedite, and another Jwar Isle Avenger. I think it's between these blue cards. I like Goblin Freerunner, especially since I have this press into service, but I think I'd like to play a little bit more of a control game. Maybe. I think it's just another Jwar Isle Avenger. Alright, so we've got another Cultivator Drone, a Seer's Lantern, a Sweep Away, and an Unknown Shores. Unknown Shores being notable because it can produce colorless mana. I think I just take another Cultivator Drone here, though. Sure, I'll take Slip Through Space. Slip Through Space is one of the kind of Surge Enabler type cards, which means that I'm fine with it. I could also see taking like a Loam Larva if I really wanted, which I don't. So, how many Jwar Isle Avengers is too many, do you think? I could also take this Wastes, but with 2 Cultivator Drones and a Scion Summoner, I'm less incentivized to take it. I could also take Brute Strength, which actually seems pretty sweet in this deck, if I'm playing red. but I think I just take another Dwar Isle Avenger, as I'm not sure what my second color is yet, and I'm pretty happy to just take as many 3/3 flyers for 5 as I can get. Zada's Commando Wield. That's pretty exciting, actually. I'm gonna go ahead and take it. I like Zada's Commando quite a bit. Here, it's between Waste and Spark Mage's Gambit. I think it's Spark Mage's Gambit. Spark Mage's Gambit is a sweet sideboard card for red. In addition, it is, Wastes is something that I don't really need right now. Both the Cinder Hellion and the Flameseeker wield. I'm gonna take the Flameseeker. Zada's ally. Zada's Commando means that I want allies and I want more low drops because of reasons. I'll take a Consuming Sinkhole. That's cool. I can deal with that. So I'm not actually committed to red in spite of all appearances. The two good red cards, or cards that I consider to be good in my pool right now, are Commando and Press into Service, and that's great. I love those cards, but if I open like a really good green card, I'll probably switch gears. No really good green card. Essence Depleter is a great black card, but we didn't see a whole lot of black in pack 1. I could, again, take a Stalking Drone, but I think I'm just going to take Reality Hemorrhage as a removal spell. That is fairly solid. Dread Defiler is one of the 7 drops that I had in my last Crush of Tentacles deck. It is a 6/8 for 7, and you can pay 3 and a black to exile a creature card from your graveyard to have target opponent lose life equal to exiled card's power. It's fine, but, you know, not worth splashing, and definitely not something that I'm interested in having. Here, it's between like Containment Membrane, Umara Entangler, Bone Saw, and that's it. I'm going to take the Umara Entangler. It's another ally, and it's a low drop, which is great. Also, Prowess, not irrelevant with things like Slip Through Space and Consuming Sinkhole, which basically says instant speed, dome your opponent for 4, give Umara Entangler +1/+1 for 4 mana. That's a rate. It's something, that's for sure. Here, I could take Hedron Crawler. It's a good way, again, to like get Crush of Tentacles mana online. There's also a Gravity Negator, which is a sweet flyer. I'm going to take the Thought Harvester, which is similar to Gravity Negator in this deck because all of my big stuff already has flying, and it's just a little bit more toughness, which is fine. Sweet! Alright, Tyrant of Valakut is a 5/4 flyer for 7. When it enters the battlefield, if its search cost was paid, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player, which is awesome. There's also a Foil Land and a Brute Strength and a Spatial Contortion and a Gravity Negator in here. But we're really happy to get Tyrant of Valakut. We're also pretty happy to pick up a second Reality Hemorrhage, especially since like Reality Hemorrhage makes that Tyrant of Valakut cost 7 still, and Crush of Tentacles cost 7 as well. So that's fine. Okay, I'll buy it. Storm Chaser Mage, a 1/3 Flying Haste Prowess creature for blue and red. We could also consider the Warden of Geometries briefly. It's not a very good card, but it is mana ramp, which is worth considering, I guess. Between Cultivator Drone and a 3rd Expedite, I'm going to go ahead and take Expedite this time. I want to be able to... Expedite is an enabler that I want for like all my Dwar Isle Avengers and my Crush and my Tyrant, because this is the Surge deck. Blinding Drone is awesome. We don't have any colorless sources other than Cultivator Drones right now, but I'm still pretty happy to take it. It's got a low price tag, and it's a decent blocker on the ground for the early game. so that we can get to this awesome late game. I'm going to take the Abstruse Interference. It's fine, and it produces a Scion, which goes well with the Crush and the Tyrant. Okay, interesting option. There's a Bonesaw here, which is pretty sweet with these guys. There's also a Wastes, which is good with Blinding Drone. I think I'm gonna take the Bonesaw. Blinding Drone is my only colorless thing right now. Gravity Negator is my second one. And I'm gonna take the Brute Strength here. It's a sweet combat trick. Bonesaw is actually cool with Storm Chaser Mage and Amara Entangler. It triggers prowess. Zada's Commando being a first striker makes Bonesaw good with that. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Take that Weapon Trainer and put it over there. Hopefully not losing to a 3-2. Witness the end, sure. Alright, deck is looking pretty sweet so far. It's got a bunch of playable cards and some other cards, and that's exciting. I could consider taking Windrider Patrol. It's not something that I necessarily am really excited about, though. I think I'd rather just take an Outnumber. It's another 1-mana spell for these guys, and it's our high end is pretty full. I like Kozilek's Channeler in this deck especially, but Rolling Thunder and Touch of the Void are both very good. So, think I take the Rolling Thunder. Like, it feels weird to pass Touch of the Void, but we've got 2 Reality Hemorrhages plus an Outnumber already. So we're gonna take the Rolling Thunder. The big question is, when do we cut Bonesaw? Don't really want any of these cards. Like, Reckless Cohort is kind of neat. Stone Fury is a removal spell. I guess I take Stone Fury. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to play it, just because we have so many high mana spells. But it's definitely the best pick out of that pack. Splash Blade Master. I'm just going to take Incubator Drone here. You can play it off of a Cultivator Drone, and that's pretty sweet. Clutch of Currents is exactly what this deck is looking for. It's a 1-mana spell that can search out these guys, but it's also just, a big mana spell too. So, that's what we want. Now I think I cut the Bonesaw, and I think I cut the Stone Fury. I'm not sure if I'm playing this Blinding Drone. And Abstruse Interference is probably the other cut. I could probably cut Slip Through Space at this point. So Rush of Ice is pretty sweet for this deck, but I think we're going to try and wheel it, and we're going to take the Blighted Gorge. Blighted Gorge means that we can consider playing Blinding Drone, which is pretty great. Just because Blinding Drone seems fine in this deck. Don't want any of these cards again. I'm going to take this Encircling Fissure. I don't know. If we wheel the Rush of Ice, I think we can cut the Blinding Drone. This deck is sweet, though. I'm taking the Coral Helm Guide. I think that one actually can replace the Blinding Drone, just because of its ability and its ability to be cast on turn 1. I'll take all these Lava Step Raiders. Not sure how many I'm playing. The answer is probably 0. I'm also not sure if I have enough lands. Or if I'm playing enough lands in this deck as it is. I probably want one more. The answer might just be to cut Expedite, which makes sense. Oh, we didn't wheel the Rush Vice. Wheel the Goblin Warpaint, though. Because even though these could be cheap, there also is the cost of the spells that we're playing, which might be 2, so they could be 7, but still wanting to cast multiple 7-drops plus a Rolling Thunder. So maybe we do just cut this Incubator Drone, which is a reasonable card, but I think in this deck it's just not as good as Cultivator Drone, and yeah, we can run it like this. Let's add some basics. It's fine. We'll submit the deck, and I'll see you guys in round 1.